Come along as I see how much I can read over a weekend. Welcome to this House of Wolves. My name is Ashley, and on this channel I love to share all things secular homeschooling and reading. And so here we are. It is a reading vlog. Oh, Charlie, he just headbutted my coffee. As always, I have a cup of coffee. All right, set that down so that I have two hands to mess with him off camera. All right, it is Friday afternoon, specifically 2:30 on Friday. I am going to try something a little bit different. I don't know how it will go. I want to set a timer and see if I can get 24 hours of reading done between now and Sunday night when I go to bed. I don't know if I can do it. I've seen a lot of vlogs where like people just read as much as they can for like 24 hours straight. I don't have the luxury of doing that. I have kids and other obligations that I have to do, and I can't devote like a full 24 hours to something like that. But I want to see if I can read 24 hours in a weekend. I think that it will help me to stop scrolling and actually pick up books and read. So, oh my gosh, you're so cute. Look at this baby. Oh my God. He has turned into our little love bug. This cat used to be so afraid of everything, and now he just wants to be with us most of the time, which is pretty good for a cat. I'm just gonna keep holding him while I talk about my goals. I have a stack of books, and my goal is to just read as much as I can. I'm gonna have a timer on my phone to track how many hours it has been in my reading time, and we'll see if I get anywhere close to 24 hours. I have no idea if it's even possible, but I have a stack of books to choose from. So let's talk about what books I am currently reading right now. So I just started this last night, but this is My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. I read the first one, which was My Roommate is a Vampire, in my last reading vlog, and I gave it 3.5 stars. You know, it was okay. Charlie, it got a little cheesy, but I already have this one on my shelves. I got it from Aardvark. It is a signed copy, so let's pick it up and see how it is. I did just start this last night because I finished another book, but I wasn't really ready to go to bed yet. So I am on chapter 4 and page 34, so I'm not far into it. But in this one, you were following Reginald, and we were introduced to him in the first book, and so I'm interested to see more of his story in this book. And he is obviously the vampire. And then we have Amelia, who is single and works a ton and is invited to a wedding and does not want to have to deal with her family again, hounding her about still being single. So she somehow invites Reginald to join her. So a little bit of fake dating with a vampire. I am very interested to continue this and see if I like it maybe a little bit more, or at least the same as the first book. So this is what I will be sitting down to read here in a second. I am also reading this. This is The Hidden Life of Trees. It's a graphic novel adaptation about the author and his take on nature. My 9th grader just read this not too long ago, and so I decided to pick it up as well, and I have not devoted time to it. But I thought that for this weekend reading vlog, it might be good to fill it in a little bit with a graphic novel. So I am not far. I am that little tab right there. God, Charlie. So what page is that? 52 out of over 200. Like 235 pages. So We'll see. I mean, it's a graphic novel. Usually they don't take that long to sit there and read. But I thought it would be a good palate cleanser in the middle of some bigger chapter books. I do also have this one from the library, and that is the Tea Dragon Society. I just picked this up on a whim. I think it is supposed to just be really cozy. Like, I am absolutely here for these vibes. So we'll see. If I finish The Hidden Life of Trees and need another palette cleanser, I have this one. All right, so now let's talk about my other possibilities. I have a lot of books on my shelf still. I have quite a few cozy kind of fall books, and so I have added those. They tend to be pretty quick reads, and I could feel like I'm accomplishing quite a bit of reading this weekend. So I have The Late Night Witches by Arlie Wallace. So this, you are following Cassie. She is a witch. She is in charge of her teenage sister and 3 kids. Her husband isn't around a lot. It takes place on Prince Edward Island, and a vampire moves into town. And so what does that mean for her and the town? Does it bring up some family secrets? Everything like that. I think that this could be just a lot of fun to read. I also have this one. I did get it from my thrift store, so that's why the price tag is on the front. But this is Keeper of Enchanted Rooms by Charlie N. Holmberg. This takes place in Rhode Island in 1864, where a writer named Merritt Fernsby inherits this house. And so he moves to it, and things start happening within the house. Doors start slamming, and it just starts acting very strange. So he calls upon Huldah Larkin of the Boston Institute for the Keeping of Enchanted Rooms to come and help. So I am just here for all of those kinds of cozy, mysterious vibes. And then my other 3 books that I have pulled off as possibilities. Obviously, I am not going to get anywhere near close to reading all of these, but I have a whole list of possibilities in case my taste changes over the weekend. I have 3 books. I have more than that, but I have pulled aside 3 books from my pile of self-destruct books. These are books that I had pulled off my shelves at the beginning of the year to hopefully read throughout this year, and either I read them and like them and they stay, or I read them, don't like them, and they go, or I just decide I don't want them on my shelves anymore and they need to go on. I have gotten so far behind. So from here until the end of the year, I am going to be playing catch up. So I have 3 of those books that they're not super long, but I thought they would kind of be fun to include if I want to. I have World War Z by Max Brooks. So this is an oral history of the zombie war. I have read Devolution by this author and loved it. I have seen the movie for this, so I don't know how it will be like compared to the movie, but I'm really excited to pick this one up. I also have The Push by Ashley Audrain. So this, you are following a woman named Blythe who pretty early on thinks that her child just isn't acting quite normal. Her husband doesn't believe her, of course, but then Blythe has a second child, and she really starts to pick up like things are not right. There's something that happens, and it goes from there. I have had this on my shelf for a long time. It is a book of the month. I don't, it doesn't say on the back. I wish that they would all say when they were part of book of the month, but this is copyright 2021, so it's been on my shelves for a long time. It's time to pick it up. And then I also have The Magician's Daughter by H.G. Perry. I have been hearing more and more about this author and definitely want to check them out. So this, it takes place in Ireland, where a young baby named Biddy washed up on shore and has been raised by a magician named Rowan. But one night he does not return from whatever he was doing that day. And it sounds like Biddy figures out that there are some dark forces against him, and so now she has to kind of fight against them and hopefully save Rowan. So I am really excited to pick that one up, maybe. So these are my books of possibilities So those are all the chapter books, and I'm going to set them there. And then I'm also going to put the Tea Dragon Society over there too. I will be coming back as the weekend goes to pick more books. But as of right now, this is where I'm going to be starting. I am going to now put on my headphones and hopefully get a really good chunk of my Vampire Plus One. I have that cup of coffee, which I had to set down because of Charlie. So I'm going to curl up. There's nobody in the living room right now. Kids are off doing their own thing. So I'm going to enjoy the nice living room and get a nice chunk of reading done. All right. Reading update. So I am at 2 hours. I will try to put a little timestamp here as I am reading this weekend, but I have made it to 2 hours, or like just shy. It's like an hour, 56 minutes, but I reached a chapter, so I decided to pause there. So I am on chapter 17, which is page 183. So I just made a huge dent in 2 hours. It helps. I'm reading at 2 times speed, and it's a pretty simple book to listen to. The font on the page is pretty big, so it's going pretty fast. I have no doubt I will be able to finish the next 200 pages relatively quickly. So I'm having fun with the book. Reggie, you know, he's like a golden retriever vampire, which is kind of funny. And then Amelia is definitely more a little like uptight, type A kind of person. And so the two of them together in this fake dating is pretty funny. They, of course, have just made it to a family's cabin for a weekend, and there's a snowstorm that has come and nobody else is able to make it. So they're the only ones there at the cabin. I will say, so like the first book, what was it? My Roommate is a Vampire. I had mentioned how I was disappointed, like she found out so quickly that he was a vampire. But Reggie is saying he wanted to tell Amelia faster and just be more open and honest with it. Of course, though, she thought, like, you know, he was joking. So there's a little bit of miscommunication in that, which miscommunication is not my go-to kind of thing. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. But it's entertaining and, like I said, an easy read. So I think I'm going to probably pause for just a little bit. It's about 5 o'clock, so I'm going to get a couple things done and then figure out some dinner, and then maybe later this evening I'll be able to pick the book back up and keep reading. But that is my update. Okay, this is my first time picking up the camera today, but it was a busy day. I ended up going and doing something that used my American voice, and it was fantastic. It was so amazing. So you can hear my voice is now very raspy from all the cheering and celebrating and using my voice. I am heating up just a little bit of food. I am huge on these little rice cups and easy broccoli. Usually I put some form of protein with it. I'm not right now because it's, you know, almost dinner time, but I am starving. So I'm going to heat up some of that and put it with teriyaki sauce. And then I'm going to start my timer again and sit down and finish this book. I have, I think, like 100 pages left. So I got a ton done and I'm ready. Like, I'm not going to hit the 24 hours now because most of my day has been spent elsewhere, but in a very good way. So let's just see how much I can get between now and tomorrow night. I think I'm at like 3 hours and 11 minutes.
So let's knock out a couple more hours tonight. Okay, very easy little snack to have. I'm going to go read and rest my voice, maybe drink something nice and warm, and I will be back with a reading update soon. Okay, I am done with the book. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. It gave me what I was expecting, but a little bit more. I did give the first book 3.5 stars. And I kind of enjoyed this one a little bit better. So I think I'm leaning towards 4 stars with this. It was good, quick, easy read. I don't know, like Reggie, he's just funny, and I like his story and his humor and his kind of silliness. So that means my next book. So I think I'm at 4.5 hours. I'll put the exact time here. So will I read 20 hours in the next 24 hours? No. But I'm interested to see how far I can get. So I have picked my next book, and that is The Push by Ashley Audrain. This was that creepy psychological kind of book dealing with a kid. So I thought that this would be a fun one. I have done a lot of like cozy kind of books this month already. This is my next pick to just kind of put a little bit of mix in there. It's just over 300 pages, and I just got the audio, and it's not sped up. I think it's like 8.5 hours. I speed up books. Usually I start at 1.5, 1.8, and then speed it up to about 2. Beyond that, my ears just don't follow, and it just gets too fast. We'll see. Maybe I can get it up to 2 times speed, which would be like 4 hours of audio, which would be really good. Like, I could finish that tonight if I stayed up really late. We'll see. It's about 5 o'clock, so I will have to kind of figure out some dinner, spend some time with my family, and everything like that. But I will give you guys an update once I get into the push. All right, it is the next morning. I just made some muffins for everybody, so I'm gonna sit down and eat that. But I wanted to give a reading update. So I was able to get almost halfway through the book last night. I am on page 125 and chapter 37. So I am really liking this. This is definitely dealing with like multi-generational trauma and having really messed up family life, especially from the mother. And so now it has gone down the generations to Blythe. And what does that mean for her is she's having kids with her husband, and the daughter just seems to start to do some harmful things, especially towards others. And of course, nobody's really believing her, especially her husband. So it's been really interesting. I got through half of the book last night, and so listening to it on 2 times speed, it goes really quickly. I am going to put on my headphones now and see how much I can get done. I will also put the timestamp here. I think I'm at like 6.5 hours almost. Obviously, I won't get anywhere close to 24 hours, but it's a good kind of trial to me to see like how much I could read in a weekend if I prioritize reading more. So I am going to put on my headphones and listen for a while. All right, it is later. I am cleaned up, cute little fall shirt, and I have a reading update. I finished The Push by Ashley Audrain. Wow. Like psychological thriller is not generally my go-to genre. I generally pick it up for, like, if we're reading something, I like it for book club. But I don't think that this one would have been a good book club pick because of the big time trigger warnings in this book.
holy cow, there is child loss, there's everything that goes into a mother and suspecting that there's something wrong but not being heard. Definitely had me wondering what happens. And it ends on a cliffhanger, but I don't know. I liked it. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars just because, it is a psychological thriller. It's not my go-to genre, but I enjoyed it. It was really interesting. And it was interesting how, like, the generational things all tied in to kind of give you, like, a full glimpse into this family. Now, it is Sunday afternoon, which means I still have some time to get some reading done. So I have picked my 3rd book for this reading vlog, which is fantastic. I'm really liking this whole little challenge. Obviously, I will not get to 24 hours, but it's really, really making me prioritize reading. So, the next book that I'm going to be picking up is The Magician's Daughter by H.G. Perry. I need a little bit more cozy, but obviously there's still like a mystery. But it says on the front, a young woman is caught between 2 worlds in H.G. Perry's spellbinding tale of miracles, magic, and an island that might have been. I'm ready for those kinds of vibes. So I will be picking this one up in a little bit. My kids and I are gonna go get some stuff done today, and then I will be picking this up later. I do also need to get into the schoolroom. We have taken this last week off of school, which was very nice. It was needed. We needed a break. But I definitely didn't get as much kind of planning and prepping and everything done that I wanted to. Like, I still need to bind together the occult study, which we are starting tomorrow. So maybe later this evening, that's something that I could do while I have headphones on. Generally, I don't do anything where I could possibly be reading things with my eyeballs while I am listening to audio, because my brain can't process all of that. Stuff like organizing the schoolroom, doing the binding, I could possibly do that with some headphones on. So that is the plan. I will be back later with an update for this. I will also put the timestamp here quickly of where we are. I think it's like 8.5 hours. But it's been a really good reading. Yeah. I like this kind of challenge and kind of want to try it again sometime. For you, no time has passed. For me, some time has passed since I last recorded, and I need to give my final update for how this reading vlog went. I came down with a nasty cold this week, and so I have been struggling through doing the bare minimum, but now it is time to give a total update. Did I reach 24 hours? Absolutely not. I did not get even halfway. This was my final time. As I am trying to film this and remember, I think I got to like 9.5 hours, and that's it. But let's be real. I am a homeschooling mom of 2, and I had some other things going on that weekend. And so I read when I could, and it gave me a really good kind of ballpark of like, what can I read in a weekend when it's busy, but I'm still prioritizing reading on my downtime. And apparently that is it. I'll take it because I accomplished a lot. I finished 2 books. Now I know this one, I had read like 30 pages of it before starting. I'm still counting. I read the whole thing in this vlog. And I read The Push. So I finished 2 books in a weekend. And I started a 3rd book. I did end up DNFing this. Nothing really wrong with the book. It is YA. And I just wasn't getting sucked into the story and the plot and what was happening. I think if you were looking for a YA book with a magical island and a wizard and his familiar and the girl who is trying to figure out how to help, that this is going to be the book for you. That's not necessarily what I was wanting to read at the time, so I ended up DNFing it. Not bad for that time. I had a lot of fun doing this. I definitely want to try this again. Maybe when things aren't coming up in a weekend and I can really, really devote a lot more time to it. But if not, it's always just fun to make reading a priority. So on that note, I'm going to go finish my nice warm cup of coffee and crawl back into bed. Leave me a little comment down below, and if you have nothing to say, maybe leave me... Ooh, here's one. Leave me a vampire emoji. That should be fun. And always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be back for more soon.